Here's today's In Touch devotion.
Today's abridged scripture reading is from 1 Samuel chapter 18, where we find that King Saul has put David in charge of the Israelite army, following David's defeat of Goliath. All the people, including Saul's servants, were in favor of this. Verse 6. Now it happened as they were coming, when David returned from killing the Philistine, that the women came out of all the cities of Israel, singing and dancing to meet King Saul with tambourines, with joy, and with other musical instruments. The women sang as they played and said, "Saul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s." Then Saul became very angry, for this lyric displeased him, and he said, "They have given David credit for 10,000s, but to me they have given credit for only thousands. Now what more can he have but the kingdom?" And Saul eyed David with suspicion from that day on. Now it came about on the next day that an evil spirit from God rushed upon Saul, and he raved in the midst of the house, while David was playing the harp with his hand as usual, and a spear was in Saul's hand. Then Saul hurled the spear, for he thought, "I will pin David to the wall." But David escaped from his presence twice. Now Saul was afraid of David, because the Lord was with him, but had left Saul. So Saul removed him from his presence, and appointed him as his commander of 1,000, and he went out and came in before the people. David was successful in all his ways, for the Lord was with him. When Saul saw that he was very successful, he was afraid of him. But all Israel and Judah loved David, for he would go out to battle and return before them. We then read that twice Saul offered one of his daughters to David in marriage, if David would continue fighting the Philistines, reasoning that David would eventually be killed. David declined both offers, declaring himself unworthy. But Saul persisted in his second proposal, and following David's survival of Saul's murderous treachery, he gave his daughter Michal to David. Verse 28. When Saul saw and realized that the Lord was with David, and that Michal, Saul's daughter, loved him, then Saul was even more afraid of David. So Saul was David's enemy continually. Then the commanders of the Philistines went to battle, and it happened as often as they went out that David was more successful than all the servants of Saul, so his name was held in high esteem.
Have you ever seen a person overtaken by bitterness? It's very sad to watch someone consumed by that type of darkness. None of us intend to end up in that condition, but unless we guard against it, malice can take hold of us. That's what happened to King Saul. He began his reign with great blessings, God's anointing, the prophet Samuel's guidance, and the applause of the people. Yet he died a bitter man because he allowed jealousy, anger, and fear to dominate his life. Instead of rejoicing that God had raised up someone to slay the giant Goliath, Saul became jealous and resented the fact that David received more praise than he did. Soon, the king became suspicious and fearful because he knew he'd lost the Lord's favor, which was now being shown to David instead. In desperation, Saul plotted to kill him. Although the details of your life differ from Saul's, the steps to bitterness and ruin are the same. Has jealousy poisoned your mind? Have you allowed unresolved anger to fester? Whom do you avoid because of ill will? If any of these things apply to you, confess them to God. Ask Him to forgive you and to renew your mind and emotions so the bitterness can be removed.